And thanks to technical difficulties, I had to start another recording, but I now have a very comfortable position for myself. And also, 1 second, because I have to fucking fix my charger for my computer because apparently it's unplugged. And we're back. So, let's continue. Oh, by the way, what I was doing was I was clearing off my chair so I could use my chair instead of my bed to fucking, sit and record. And surprisingly enough, the chair is more comfortable. Who would have thunk it? It's only been a month and a half since I arrived here, yet this school's become a second home. I've gained new friends and contacts, managed to get to grips with the school's lifestyle and culture, and become accustomed to the quirks of my classmates. To become used to a school where disabilities are the norm, rather than the rare exception, still catches me off guard sometimes when I think on it. The same school that's populated by burn victims, amputees, the blind, the deaf, and a manner of disabilities in between. If someone had described this school to me before I'd have shrugged it off as an overactive imagination. Even when I first arrived, I felt like the Dutch coming to this strange new land for the first time. It's amazing how quickly one becomes used to the environment they're forced to live in. Really, and and now I've even found someone that's got me entirely smitten. What a strange life. Before my mind can wander any further, though, I find a page of lined paper slipped under my distracted face. The garish, bright pink ink has no doubt has been penned by Misha, who's sitting right there, grinning like fucking, just cheesing all day, every day. Don't look so bored, He-chan. School's nearly over. 3-day holiday. Oh, I loved those. All right, we get Saturday and Monday off. Can't complain about having less school, I suppose. I uncap my pen and scribble on the page before covertly passing it back to her, flicking my eyes to the front of the class every now and then. Matao continues scrawling something arcane, scrawling away arcane equations and formulas on the board. I'm guessing you have something planned. Misha takes the paper back and hunches over it comically, even for her, with her tongue poking through the side of her mouth. Did she misinterpret my expression as depressed? And is she trying to cheer me up? Student council work with Shi-chan, of course. You're not still brooding over that, surely. But He-chan could have helped us poor lonely girls. I'd lend you a hand for today if I weren't going to be busy. Oh, naughty, naughty He-chan. Oh, I see what you did there, Misha. Oh, my God. Hold on. That deserves a clap. That deserves an applause. I'm sorry. I'm just going to meet Lily with Hanako. I don't know what you've got going through your head. So Lily's back? Yeah, she's coming on the evening flight with her sister, so she'll be back in school next week. As she takes the note back and begins to write, I look up to see an unwelcome sight. Oh no! The note passing is over. While I frantically try to silently catch Misha's attention, Matao confidently strides through the gap between the desks from the front of the class, his intent gaze focused directly on her. She suddenly stops writing as his tall figure casts an impossibly long shadow over the page. He silently takes the piece of paper from her and begins to read. Sweating bullets, I quickly glance around the class, noting their complete silence, of course. It would just have to be one thing that actually gets their attention during the lesson. After a scant few seconds examining the page, he rolls the paper up into a small tube and lightly bops Misha over the head with it. Just bad. I'd rub your face in it if I could. Half an hour until you can hop off to the student council. I think you can hold on until then. Misha's face cracks as the entire class erupts into laughter. He might as well be. He might well be awkward, but he knows how to handle her excellently. I probably feel sorry for her if I weren't as busy stifling my own laughter. God damn, that outfit is just. It does not look cheap. I'm gonna say that much. Hisao, is that one it? No, I think that's some form of airline. And so the third aircraft they're not on comes into land. For the past half hour, we've been wheeling around the time with small snippets of pointless chatter. Lily and Akira's flight has been delayed, and at this rate, it'll probably be dark before their plane arrives. She looks slightly agitated. She's just like, motherfuck, where the fuck is she? Is that one it? No, company colors are wrong. Hanako's eyes flutter left and right, following the trickle of people in and out of the huge glass doors ahead of us. Fortunately, nobody pays her much heed, their attention apparently directed towards greater things. Maybe that one is it? No, I think that's... Hold on a minute. I think that one might be it after all. It takes still some more time before the billboard changes their flight status to disembarking. Loud yawn sneaks up on me, not allowing enough time to stifle it. My sleep patterns have, once again, been all over the place. Likely due to a mix of worrying about Hanako and the side effects of my medications. Hisao, over there. I look to Hanako, then follow her gaze to the airport door. Oh, Lily, they're here. Really? You're actually not wearing the school uniform again. Yay! You're still dressed like you usually dress. Big surprise! We all call out to each other in greeting, quickly shuffling over to the side to avoid blocking the passage of others. Lily! Hanako jumps forward to hug Lily, a wide smile on her face, being all that's needed to see her happiness. At Lily's return, Lily simply smiles in return, her soft voice. It's wonderful to meet you again, Hanako. As the two give each other a hug, well deserved after all that's happened while she was gone, I turn to Akira. Yo. See, that's my kind of girl right there. Just, yo, what's good? You're pretty late. Yeah, there was a really bad storm over the airport. We got drenched just going from the car to the door. Guess you'll appreciate the weather here more than welcome back to you too, Lily. Hanako breaks off from Lily as I speak. For a long time, neither of us says a word. Contrary to what I thought her homecoming would be like, the atmosphere feels awkward, almost stifling. Both of us try to guess each other's feelings, not quite sure about what should be said. Damn, this is exactly what I feared when I thought of trying to move things forward between us. I cannot do a solid Snake voice for the life of me. Metal Gear! Lily runs her hand through her fair hair and awkwardly twirls one of her bangs in her fingers, clearly trying to think of how best to react. Eventually, thankfully, Lily gives a small sigh and breaks the silence. Thank you, Hisao. It's nice to be back. Are you okay? You look tired. Evidently not recollecting herself all that well, she quickly waves her hand in front of her face to stave off any concern Hanako may have over her. I'm okay, really. It's just a bit of jet lag. You get that? Weak! See, like, everything is just like, what the fuck? It's just like, it matches me in some ways so bad. You don't have any? She simply gives a big grin, puffing out her modest chest. I feel absolutely fine. That's not fair. Well, you shouldn't take it too long to get rid of it. Ah, that's right. Hisao? Yeah? Don't we have a holiday from school soon? I'd have forgotten if Misha hadn't reminded me this morning. We've got a 3-day weekend starting from tomorrow. Akira playfully bumps her elbow lightly into Lily's side, grinning. Told you you wouldn't miss it. You have something planned? If neither you nor Hanako are busy, I've got no plans, so something to do would be appreciated. Hanako? No, nothing. What would you expect her to have to do? Never mind. That's good. I was thinking we could go to my family's summer house for a bit of quiet over the break. Oh shit. The point is coming up where I have to cut shit out. This is not good. We rarely used it recently, though, so we'd have to dust things off a little while we're there. Oh, where is it? Up north in Hokkaido. Is that Hokkaido or Hokkaido? 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 I don't know! The place is practically deserted, so it should be a nice quiet break for you guys. You're not coming? Nah, got a little holiday of my own set with my boyfriend. Wrong word. Girl, then that. Lesbian. I'm joking. I lower my eyes at her, suspicious of her intentions. Sounds like we're just cleaning up the summer house for you. That's perhaps a valid conclusion. Both of us zero in on Akira, her face somewhat evasive. Looks like we were right. Just remember, that's just a convenient bonus, really. Me and the guy left it in pretty good condition last we were there, I promise. Now then, I'm out of here. Okay, first thing we need to do when we get there. We need to bleach everything. Especially the sheets and the couch. Do not trust this woman and what goes on in that house. She quickly turns and walks away, her head held high. See you in a few days, guys. Leah and I can only sigh at her hasty retreat. Does sound like it would be a nice place to go. I don't even have Google Chrome running. I don't even have Google Chrome on my computer. What the fuck? Lee gives an enthusiastic nod, taking her carry bag in one hand and placing her other on Hanako's shoulder for guidance as we begin to make our way to the taxi area. After the frasses of the past few days, spending a weekend in the country alone with her and Hanako sounds like a dream. The more I think about it, the more sure I am this will be the right time and place to confess my feelings to her. Chapter change. Oh yes, we are getting there. The morning chill wraps itself around my shivering body. I huff into my cupped hands to desperately try and stave off the cold as we mill about on the station platform. Liz's clothing looks rather ill-suited for the temperature around us. I can only hope it's indicative of what she expects the weather to be like at our destination. Damn it, Lily, when we have to get here so early. Unfortunately, the train schedule is against us. The next train to Hokkaido is at 2 in the afternoon. Great. Just great. I pause for a moment to wipe some sleep out of my eyes, and Lily promptly takes advantage of the opening. Cheer up, Asao. Once we get there, it'll be much warmer. Why not just take a bullet train? A normal train is going to take hours to get us there, so we may as well take the Shinkansen line as far north as it goes, and just a switch at the end. There's a certain charm to older trains, wouldn't you agree? Yes, I would. There is a charm to older trains. I'd agree if it weren't freezing in the morning cold because we decided to take one. I'm sorry, Asao. Sorry. What for? I was the one who suggested taking a normal train. Way to make me feel guilty. All I can do is sigh and cover my face with my hand. It's fine. Just grumbling. My, Hanako, you need to shoulder all the blame yourself. Even without your suggestion, I'd still have opted for the same thing. Thankful of the quick interception from Lily, I take a quick gander around the station. Aside from us, the train's platforms all but deserted, the morning dew settling on the empty benches. I guess no one else was masochistic enough to brave the very early morning. Though if someone was, they'd more than notice the huge bags both Lily and Anako brought with them. Just what did you have to pack into those things anyway? The bags? She pauses a moment and tilts her head in thought. Change of clothing, raincoat, underwear, sleepwear, a number of books. I think that's most of it. You make it sound as if I'm unprepared. You brought less? Underwear and a pack of cards. That's it. Really? You could have just put that in like a jewel bag or something. And my pills, but never mind that. Pills here. Pills here. Pills here. Pills. No pajamas? Damn, I knew I forgot something. As I ruffle my hair in frustration, Lily sighs. There'd be clothes that you could use there. Akira still occasionally goes there after all, and I think some of our parents' clothing is still in storage. I was about to say, I am not putting on anything that Akira has worn, for the fear of what may be stained on them. I'm playing. I don't think there'll be any problem with you borrowing a set of pajamas if need be. Thanks. Still, I don't mind just sleeping in my normal clothing. For 2 days? Good point. Not really. Though 2 days would be borderline. It's more that looking even a little like a slob would be unacceptable while in the presence of 2 girls. As we leisurely talk on the station platform, an announcement sounds from the loudspeakers, loudly heralding our ride's arrival. Looking past Lily and Hanako, though, the train's still well out of sight. Quick check of my watch is enough to see that it's the one we'll be taking. The 5:30 train was ours, right? Correct. Either of you want me to take your bags? Mine's not exactly heavy. My, that's very gentlemanly of you, Hisao. Don't accept too reluctantly now. As I bend down to pick up Lily's large bag, I looked up to see Hanako picking up hers. You fine with that? A silent nod's the only answer. I'm starting to get the feeling that by the trip's end, I'll be able to count every sentence she said on one hand. Him and her playing fucking poker. With the morning landscape passing by the window and the occasional rattle of the train bumping the carriage around, I try to focus my attention on the aging playing cards held in my hand. I'll raise you 5. She scrunches her face up and leans over to Lily conspiratorially, the two exchanging a few whispered words. Considering how often this has happened so far, I'm coming to doubt Hanako's grasp on how to play poker. Doesn't seem to disturb Lily's reading, though, her hands flitting over each page, with only occasional corrections to count for the train's bumping and rocking. My collection of chess pieces that we're using as chips is steadily growing anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. Looking around us, our carriage is almost as empty as the station platform we'd waited for the train itself on. Only a handful of people can be seen, looking mostly like tourists and couples on holidays. While the two continue their less than clandestine strategizing, a small boy looks over the seat and stares at me. Hoping he doesn't begin to stare at Hanako, I simply give him a wave and a smile. Thankfully, he retreats back to his seat after finding me far too boring to waste his attention on. I'll see you and raise you another 5. Damn, you got me. I fold. I've been bluffing and she's caught me. Hanging my head, I push over a large portion of my winnings. Hanako looks absolutely delighted, and even if Lily keeps her attention focused on her reading material, I can see the smirk on her face. They're both extremely pleased. For a moment, I try to work out what Lily's reading, but the cover is too faded to read beyond the fact that Roman letters are on it. A pity I can't read the braille above the printed title. What are you reading, Lily? The title looks like it's in English. That's right, it's And Then There Were None, an old British story. I could read it to you if you'd like. She extends the offer with a grin, obviously in jest. Think I'll pass, thanks. Okay, when I first saw this, I was like, that is not, just a summer house. This looks like a house in a neighborhood, to be honest. After a seemingly endless trip, we finally reached the promised land of the Satao summer house. Even after the train trip, the walk seemed to take forever. Despite my grumblings, though, I'd have never have guessed the sight that would be in store for us once we traveled that long, deserted road. It looks more like a farmhouse than the everyday house I'd imagined, small in size and surrounded by trees and bushes. An empty expanse of wheat fields and farming land can be seen as we walk up, the fencing only consisting of rickety old wooden planks. It really drives home how far we are from the major cities and is a sight that feels antithetical to the environment I grew up in. The only thing that doesn't surprise me is its Western styling. Wow, it's amazing out here. It's wonderful. That's nice to hear. While Akira may have said that she's kept the house in reasonable condition, I was worried that we might have different standards of reasonable. Looks like there isn't any soul for miles. I thought Akira would be the type to keep to the city. Lily furrows her brow in thought, seemingly recalling almost forgotten knowledge. From memory, there's a small town not too far ahead. Other than that, though, this is largely just the old farmland. Akira and I stayed in our parents' house, which was in the nearest city for a while, but after they left, we decided to move into a smaller, more easily maintainable house. To find a place like this in Japan nowadays is kind of anachronistic. Well, this town does have quite a bit of history. Look down the street one last time before getting back to the task at hand. Shall we go in then? I'm parched. It was a long walk to get here. And guess what else? It's time to pause. God damn, that music is loud. Lily gives an enthusiastic nod, the three of us lugging our bags into the house. Yes, get the bleach, douse that shit. Especially for the fact that there's a pillow right there. I don't trust it. As soon as we set foot inside, Hanako and I start looking around, taking in every detail of where we'll be staying for the next few days. All the artifacts of another's life stopped mid-motion are around the house, such as the television guide lying beside the counter it was on, and pans in the adjoining kitchen still sitting on the stove. It's a strange feeling, really, as if we were stepping into Akira's life for a brief moment, before leaving in a couple of days, just as we'd come. Of course, the more mundane reality is that she just hasn't cleaned up after herself that well. Where should we put our bags? I'll show Hanako our bedroom. You can put yours here if you'd like. You mean I don't have the same bedroom as you two? Wrong words to say, man. Like, that's that's a little intrusive. Hanako flowers into a full blush as Lily takes her cheek in her hand. Maddie, be quiet. Oh my, how bold. You two. Hold up. Hold on. If I'm to leave my bags here, where will I be sleeping? Well, seeing as we lack a guest bedroom, the convertible futon, huh? Sorry, Hisao. Hey, I don't mind. I like futons. They're comfortable. I sigh, laminating my place on the bottom rung of sleeping location priorities. I guess there's no other choice. Lily leaves to show Hanako to their bedroom, so I take a small tour of my surroundings after I drop my bag on the floor. What's funny is I think I know what kitchen, whose kitchen that is. It looks so familiar, I ain't gonna lie. It looks familiar as fuck. The kitchen, just like the living room, is fairly modest. The rustic nature of the wooden furnishings drives home just to how far we are from civilization. Returning to the living room, I decided to try out the television until they get back. With a touch of the remote, it immediately flickers to life, apparently set to a news channel. Almost flopping down from exhaustion rather than sitting, I lay back and watch, and then fall asleep. Pausing time. Sorry about that. Many of you may not know, but I actually have shit to do around the house quite often, so I just pause whenever I have something to do. And, to you guys the time passed is like mere seconds, so well, not even mere seconds, like not even a second. So let's continue. Sal? Hello? Quickly blink to wake myself up, Lily and Hanako having returned to minus their bags. From the Hagao night sky visible outside the windows, it looks like I drifted off to sleep. Looking through the wall-mounted clock, it's already 10. You found the television then? Yeah, it really does feel nice and homey here. Glad you like it. You were already out like a light when we came back after unpacking our things, so we didn't have the heart to wake you sooner. Judging from her giggle, I must sound funny when I sleep. I swiftly decide not to inquire. There's some dinner waiting for you in the kitchen. Oh, that's nice. You two made me food. I appreciate that. Hanako gives a deep yawn, only just remembering to cover her mouth at the last second. My, are you tired? I didn't get much sleep last night. I'm pretty tired too. It was a long walk up here and it's getting late. If that's the case, I suppose we should retire for the night. Good night, Hasao. Good night. Night. I'll say that, yeah. I'm not good with saying the word good with the words. Like goodbye, good night, good day. I'm not good with it. It's out of character for me. With that, they quietly turn and walk back to their bedroom. Rubbing my eyes, I sigh. I wonder if I'll be able to get back to sleep after being woken up. I suppose I'll eat something and watch some more TV quietly before going to bed. Yeah, and it's getting to that point where I'm going to have to start cutting shit out because it's going to be just it's too too much for YouTube. Is he still sleeping? I think so. I'm not. I am, however, incredibly tired. It's getting late in the morning. I know that. He likely stayed up to watch television. I could hear it from our bedroom, only because I couldn't get to sleep. Should we wake him? Don't do that, Hanako, please. No, we should leave him. I doubt he'd want to be woken early if he didn't get much sleep during the night. Thank you, Lily. Besides, he sounds so peaceful. It would be a shame to wake him when he's like this. Keep a straight face, Asao. It is nice she cares so much, though. Hanako, could you go to the fridge and fish out what's needed to make lunch? Alright, just the vegetables and rice? That should be enough. We only need something simple, as we can eat in town later. Hanako's footsteps on the carpeted floor can be heard, moving away from the living room as they do. I feel Lily's hand gently rest on my chest. Takes a titanic effort not to react, but something about her makes me think she knows I'm awake. A long silence passes. The only thought in my mind is of that gentle, outstretched hand laying upon my chest. After an indiscernible amount of time, Lily withdraws her hand. Good morning, Hisao. Ah, she fucking knew. Conceding defeat all too easily, I prop myself up and rub my eyes. How do you know? Your breathing was off. While that makes sense, she couldn't have neither that long to work it out. Knowing it, her hearing, she likely knew before laying her hand on me. If you want to sleep more, you should really go to bed earlier. I heard the television going long into the night. Sorry about that. My medications have been interfering with my sleep for a while now. Even if I'm tired, I have trouble actually sleeping. I'm sorry for bringing it up, Isao. I'm just making choices as they come now. Because seriously, I want to be able to I want to be able to get past the point of needing to fucking cut this shit out. I don't even know what choice I just made. I think address it. Was that it? Would it show in the text history? I sigh. This is exactly the kind of thing I wish others wouldn't do. Address it. Yeah, I picked address it. Come on, you worry about me more than I do at times. Just means I have to sleep a bit longer, that's all. But still. I say that I look absolutely fine, but I guess that wouldn't have a lot of meaning for you. She gives a sigh of consternation before trailing off with an amused chuckle, giving up the point. If you say so, please take care of yourself please do take care of yourself as I. Go on, Hanako could use some help. She moves to protest, but reluctantly acquiesces. Acquiesces is I don't know this word. It's bugging me now because now I feel the need to go on the internet and go to fucking Oxford dictionaries to look up how you pronounce it. But I'm not going to. I'm just gonna skip it. And disappears into the kitchen, her hand running along the smooth white walls as she slowly walks. For a while, I sit and watch television in an attempt to wake myself a little more, but it's futile. I don't have anything better to do, so I follow Lily's lead. As I round the corner, I see Hanako and Lily, backs turned, quietly cutting food on the granite-colored counter. I'm temporarily engrossed as I watch Lily guiding the knife down carefully with a finger on the cabbage she's cutting. Each slice delivered slowly, but with precision. She seems a little slow, but considering that she can't see what she's doing, it's a small wonder she can cook at all, let alone for both her and Hanako. Hi, Hanako. Lily, want any help? Is that his... Ah! Oh, morning, Isao. Lily jerks back at his surprise before turning around, her yelp immediately drawing Hanako and I to her side. What's... Ah... A small trickle of scarlet falls downward from her pale fingertip, the knife having cut just deep enough to draw blood. With the television's sound masking my footsteps, she must not have noticed me coming. To compensate for having to use touch to guide everything she does during cooking, she must need to pay extra attention. Lily! Don't worry, Hanako. It's just a small wound. It's just a flesh wound. It's just a flesh wound. You should still get a band-aid on it. At least it's until it stops bleeding. First aid stuff would be in the bathroom, right? Think so. Will you be okay here, Hanako? I frown at how little heed she's paying it to herself as Hanako gives a quick, almost automatic nod. It's fine. I can keep making lunch. I ain't gonna lie, I like this fucking bathroom. It looks fucking exquisite. It does. It looks fucking exquisite. It looks like this belongs to a house that is fucking expensive. An awkward silence reigns as I set the bottle of antiseptic and a box of Band-Aids on the side of the sink. Lily's finger held out for me to treat. The little bottle comes off with a minimum of resistance, and the small ball of cotton I soak in the liquid stains a pale green. Okay, hold still. This'll probably hurt a bit. She gives a small nod as I take hold of her hand to steady it. With the tenderness I can muster, I gently bring the dampened wad to the small red line. Ah! What? I barely touched it. Dude, her fucking senses for touch and, like, feel are fucking increased. So, of course, it's gonna hurt more. Sorry. I give a sigh, both at her reaction and to settle my own nerves. Her pain tolerance is startlingly low. I would tell you to man up, but I can't really do that. As she gives a small giggle, I take advantage of her momentary distraction and gently press the cotton against her finger a few times. Thankfully, it's enough to do the job. We both settle somewhat as I bring the band-aid over the tip of her finger, covering the wound while making sure not to get it stuck to her fingernail. There, finished. You can move now. Taking her hand from mine, she gently clasps it in the other. Thank you. It's no problem. It's the least I can do for causing you to hurt yourself after all. She lowers her head slightly at the apology, absent-mindedly rubbing her hand in what seems to be embarrassment. I really don't mind. Her answer doesn't seem to make much sense, given that what happened is pretty clearly my fault. Can't help grimacing at her, despite the fact that her dainty smile still holds. She must not like being reminded of the limitations her lack of sight imposes on her. It's something I can't possibly fault her for. I've fallen prey to some kind of feelings before, despite my condition not being nearly as ubiquitous, ubiquitous, ubiquitous. I can't no in my life. Neither of us any of the happier. We head back to the various smells of cooking food coming from the kitchen. I lay out the plates of food, steam slowly rising from the well-cooked rice and curry dishes, while Hanako lays out the cutlery. Knife one side, fork on the other, Western, how perfectly fitting for someone like Lily. As we take our seats, taking careful heed of the dark red tablecloth hanging below our knees, Lily emerges from the kitchen. In her hands are 3 glasses and a bottle of wine. Ooh, let's get tanked. As I recall our previous run-in with that devilish elixir, I hide my face in my palm. Alcohol? Seriously? Hey, don't be a prude, Hisao. He pauses as she reaches the table, a playful grin perched on her face. Kira specifically gave permission to take a bottle from her collection. Not only does she give alcohol to minors, she even lets them pilfer their own. The perfect model of a respectable, responsible adult Akira is not. More to the point, though, this is hardly a meal deserving of alcohol. Starting to think Lily's the type to easily become hooked on things. It's not really the problem. I don't really have any qualms with it, but didn't you have a bad experience with it last time? Last time was likely due to drinking too much, so a single glass shouldn't prove a problem. Think of it as a learning experience. I can think of many things as a learning experience, Lily, but this is not one. I love my chair. Can't recall many learning experiences that made me feel rotten before putting me to sleep, but I'll take your word for it. She dips an uninjured finger inside to feel the liquid level. Tip against the bottom as the liquid rises up. The white of her finger almost seems to glow as the sunlight hits it, the delicate outline blurred and refracted by the glass. Fingers are definitely longer than mine, the kind I'd think more suited to a pianist than a teacher. She'd likely have done well if she'd learned how to play. She could be the next Ray Charles, a blind pianist. We quickly dig into our meal, forks and knives clattering against plates. None of us are particularly eager to speak while eating. Lily altogether too reserved for such a thing, Hanako probably too shy to start a conversation, and I too busy savoring the food. Such a pedestrian activity, eating together at a table. It seems so utterly normal, yet it makes me realize how long it's been since I've done something like this. Just the 3 of us sitting around a single table eating as if we were a malformed family. Maybe this trip, as far away from everything as we are, was worth it. It takes quite a long time, but eventually we finish our surprisingly filling meal. The wine, thankfully, has little effect given we've only had a glass or 2 each. I slump back into the seat, rubbing my stomach contently. I'm stuffed. Lily pats her mouth with a napkin twice, only twice, and with evenly timed intervals in between. It's hard to tell sometimes whether how she acts is a well trained routine or a well rehearsed act. Think I must be as well. Did you like it, Hanako? It was nice. Now that we're all now that we're well fed, shall we be off? Off where? Ah, you weren't privy to the discussion between Hanako and I earlier. I get the impression that she's having a subtle dig at my sleeping in. We'll be going into the town nearby. I remember this shit. Better prepared to eat shit and die. I guess I should have expected two girls to take a holiday as an excuse to go shopping, no matter where on the planet they may be. I'm interested to see more around the north, though, so this can only be a good thing. Sounds good. How long's the walk in, then? It's supposed to be around a mile to a mile and a half. Nearby, huh? Great. Just great. Prepare to eat shit and die, Hisao. Golly ma. As we climb the path surrounded by trees and undergrowth, I watch Lily and Hanako walking ahead. The slight breeze all but whisks away the sound of Lily's cane gently tapping on the ground. I notice that Lily's since removed the band-aid now that the bleeding of her finger has stopped. A deep, lung-filling breath of the fresh country air makes me wish all the harder that the air around home had been quite so clean. It can't have been even been half a mile, but I'm already working up a sweat. It isn't a pleasantly cool day, though, so I shouldn't be too hard on myself for it. Hey, Lily, how well do you know the town, anyway? Since I spent quite a few of my vacations here until I entered Yamaku, I'd say I know it fairly well. We used to drive there once a weekend then. How I wish Akira was here to drive us now. Get your license, fool. I still need to get mine. I'm dragging on that, but I don't have a car, so what's the point? Quickly take a moment to rub my hands a couple of times, staving off the oddly cold feeling in them. Did you like it up here? I'd say it was nice during winter, but as you can work out, summers get a little too hot for comfort. It's nice and quiet, at least. Oh my god, I love my chair. It makes me be able to just prop my feet up and fucking chill. Love it. My family's real house is quite far south. When they left Japan, my parents gave it to Akira and I. Only Akira lives there now. After my moving into Yamaku, I do not wish to go to that house. I have a feeling that I would see things that I don't want to see. Aside from, not including probably the mountain of fucking beer cans laying around. Just a big, the Leaning Tower of fucking Budweiser. Fuck the Leaning Tower of Twinkies, the Leaning Tower of Budweiser. Well, quiet certainly describes this place. Though lonely is how I'd put it. Not really, like I want to live in a place that's like pretty far away from, not too far, but pretty a decent like length away from civilization, because I want to be able to not have to deal with the sound of cars beeping or anything like that, or even I just want to have a house away from any other, because I think it'd be great. Other than the prophesied small town, there isn't another soul for miles around. Coming from a home nestled deep within a big city, it's certainly different. Think that if I'd not come to Yamaku, staying out in the country like this would be too much of a change to get used to. Ugh. After getting accustomed to the school's isolation, though, the idea of living in a place such as this has become almost inviting. To be somewhere away from the hustle and bustle of the metropolitan centers. So, Asao, have you been to Hokkaido before? Nah. I used to live down south and never had any field trips or holidays up this far. Well, it's a new experience for you then. Yeah, it is. I'm surprised that at how nice it feels here. How about you, Hanako? She shakes her head from side to side. It's my first time, too. As we continue walking, I begin to feel pins and needles in my legs. It's a little disturbing, given there's no reason for it to be happening. Can you two hold on a moment? I just need to... Is anything wrong? Yeah, I'm about to eat shit and die. Here we go. Nah, I've just got pins and needles in... Oh, shit. You dumbass, you didn't take your medication. My vocal cords suddenly become taut as my chest tightens instantaneously. I quickly pull my upper arm over it, trying to quell the shot of pain spreading throughout my entire body. Sao? Lee's voice is only mildly concerned, not knowing the sight which Hanako is recoiling from. I'm fine, just tired. I remove my arm from my chest and quickly force myself to begin walking again. It's just a minor heart flutter, so it'll pass like the others. No, it will not. It only takes a couple of steps before my body violently revolts against me, my legs suddenly beginning to give way underneath me, and all tension in my knees seeming to evaporate. Before I can react, they uselessly give way under my weight, leaving me only just enough time to brace myself and fall onto all fours. Ah, damn! It's a ah! As I look up to her and realize my face is still taut with pain, only adding it that much more to her worrying. Hisao, Hanako, tell me what's going on. Hanako, tell me. Okay, you're quite close actually. That's closer than most close-ups. Hanako quickly moves to my side as Lily almost panics, having little clue as to exactly how bad a condition I'm in. While she stands there petrified, I lower my face and take a deep breath. I come to the realization that makes me endlessly irritated with my stupid self. With all the excitement of my new surroundings, I entirely neglected to take my medications last night or even this morning. You dumbass. Ugh. Taking another breath, the acute pain in my chest begins to die down as suddenly as it arrived. Thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God. Okay, you can stop freaking out now, Hanako. It's all good. It's all good. As it does, I become acutely aware of the sweat by now pouring off my face and the two scared girls around me. Hisao? I'm fine, Lily. I'm fine. I screw out my brow in an effort to lever myself up, Hanako's arms quickly moving to catch me if I fall as I stumble a bit before regaining my balance. Look to Lily and Hanako, worry written on both their faces. Feel awful, utterly awful. Think we should go back. Realizing the futility of protesting, I look away in frustration. Fine. And I need to stop it for a moment. Sorry for that, but I do need to stop it, so I'll see you guys in the next video.